Hi, this is David Vito Gregoli. I'm going to be talking with Jim Gelcer about our new album, Quiet Expanse, which just got released July 27th. We're going to be talking about the music itself, about what inspired it, the instruments we played, the influence of different people, and explaining why we chose the covers that we chose for each single. And hopefully, you'll gain some insight about the songs and hope you love the album. And now, here's the first song.
Maybe the first one is forgiveness.
It's very lovely. It's one of my favorite tracks.
Me too. I love that track. It's also the first one that we did that we worked
That's
on
right.
together. Um, and but it has so many things that I love. I think it's got a real orchestral composition. I would call it also a filmic composition. I could imagine this in a film score. Um, and then individually, I really love the I love your acoustic guitar playing and definitely the fretless bass when that comes in is amazing.
Mm.
Um, by the way, I should let you know that as you know, I teach Jim's Yoga Cafe, my yoga class every morning at 8 a.m. and I have, like, as you know, students all over the world, and I play my music in the background during the class, and very, very often I'm playing music from Quiet Expanse. So I hear these songs almost on a daily basis. Many of them, I hear them a lot, I'm not getting tired of them at all. Like, they're just, and people in the class love them too. And yeah, so it's really nice soundtrack to part of my day. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's got uh, the nice acoustic guitar, nice fretless bass. I love the cymbal swells. I think I did those. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did those. Um, and I think I played some keyboards. The other thing is we should mention is that, the way we collaborated on this is that either, it started out as either an idea of yours or an idea of mine. So, and then we built on it. So this one was one of your ideas. You had like a sort of a sketched out thing. You sent it to me. I built up on it, and then we went from there. But yeah, this is, I think, a great choice for an opening track for the album. And and as you said, it's the first one we did, but it's still definitely one of my favorites.
Mine too. It started out as I was looking to use these new sounds, the French horns and the nickel harpa
Yeah,
and some of the choiry things. And so, I'm sure you experience the same thing whenever you try out a new sound, something compositionally just pops up from the
yeah,
sound,
yeah,
and it's not even inspiration, I don't think. I think it's just it tells you what it wants to do.
yeah.
If I was thinking as it came in, what if those horns were still on the same synth that did the intro?
Uh-huh.
It wouldn't have moved me to make the changes that I made after that because it comes from the sound.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing that you say because I've been playing keyboards since the 80s. And, when different synthesizers came out in the 80s, like, Korg, remember Korg and Yamaha, and um, I always felt like, and I still feel this way, like that I wanted to always, if I was looking for a new synthesizer, I wanted to buy one that would inspire me. Like, I want to be able to play a sound and that inspires me to create something. That's the way it should be, So that's what you're saying about the French horn sounds and the different sounds. They were kind of inspiring you to create something. So I think I'm totally on the same page as that.
Great. You did the lead part on it, and what's a perfect example of why collaboration can be so advantageous is I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, I'm a
Right.
lead player. I do leads on guitar, I do leads on keyboards, flutes, whatever. But it didn't
Yeah.
occur to me that that would fit in the way that you did it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the real fun things about collaborations.
Thank you. And yeah, I forgot. I completely forgot that I did the lead part on it. But yeah, you just reminded me. Bending notes, it's a lot harder to do to make it sound musical when you're bending notes on a keyboard than a guitar. But if you do it musically, then it can sound good.
What
Yeah.
does forgiveness mean to you, Mr. Jim?
Um, we were talking about this in Jim's Yoga Cafe today. Well, actually, I think this is related, actually, to forgiveness in a way. But I told a story about a monk who decides that he wants to get away from the monastery and go meditate out in the wilderness. So he gets on a boat and he goes, like, sets himself in the middle of the pond, or the river, and he's just sitting there quietly meditating. And in the middle of his deep, deep meditation, he feels another boat hits him, and he immediately, like, anger comes into him, and he's like, who is disturbing my meditation, and he opens his eyes to be angry at the driver of the other boat, only to find that it's an empty boat that has just drifted and bumped him. And so then he realizes that the anger is actually inside him, and it's an epiphany for him that, like, I need to deal with the anger inside me anytime. And from that point on, anytime he feels like someone is, quote unquote, making him angry, he thinks to himself that that's just an empty boat. Like, I have to deal with the anger that's coming from inside me. And it's a great lesson.
It's a beautiful lesson.
Yeah, and so I think that forgiveness is similar to that. Like, you have to, because often our anger is directed at another person, and so, but if we can forgive that other person, then, we can, then that's dealing with the anger that's inside us. So that's my thoughts about forgiveness.
I'd just like to add, to me, forgiveness and empathy are hand in hand. If you have empathy for someone, you forgive them for having whatever motivation motivated them to do the thing that was harmful. So, and I think empathy is just so important in this world.
Yeah,
It comes down to every spiritual practice is about has some element of forgiveness and reciprocity
yeah,
to other people. So if you have empathy for somebody, you have forgiveness for them. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean you accept bad behavior. It's you forgive them for having that wound, for not having healed that wound enough to be able to function with you in a more skillful way.
yeah.
So you accept the person's limitations, you forgive them, and you do what you need to do.
Right.
Um,
One of the places I get really, really mad a lot is when I'm driving, and I get mad
yeah,
at the driver. Going through, everyone has their bag of hammers, as Michael J. Fox says. One time I was coming literally out of a yoga class where I had just, had this amazing yoga practice, came out of Shavasana, was really relaxed, got in the car driving home, and somebody cuts me off, and I go, "Hey, I start yelling expletives, and then I said to myself, like, how is that happening? I just came out of a yoga class. How am I getting so agitated?" And I asked that question to a Swami, and I said, like, how is that possible that I could be coming out of a yoga class so relaxed and then all of a sudden get into that? And the Swami said something really deep and profound, which is that yoga just brings your true nature to the surface. And so if there is anger in your true nature, that's just going to come to the surface. So you still have to do the work on yourself.
hmm yeah,
So that was really, really an amazing life lesson for me. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. If I had, if I was calm and relaxed after that yoga class and nobody cut me off or did anything, I would have stayed calm and relaxed. But, someone kind of knocked me. You're right. Something knocked me out of that state. Yeah. We're getting back to the empty boat, right? Yeah.
yeah.